Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most compassionate. Hi, my name is Nora Amath. Let me start by sharing with you a confession. I'm much older than I look, thus I can actually use this phrase. Back in my days, people did this or were this way. So barring this concept, I can say this. I can remember what life was like before September 11th, 2001. And after September 11th, the world changed, and understandably so. People change, and unfortunately not always for the better. And in the last few months here in Australia, the changes to our core democratic freedoms and values have been completely undermined. Let me now point out an obvious. I am a very visible Muslim female, and like many other hijab-wearing Muslim females around the world, I sometimes have had to bear the brunt of the antagonism, the anger, the discrimination, and ultimately the fear from the general public when they see me. I represent the them in the dichotomy of us and them. And it is this dichotomy which plagues our progress and prosperity as a nation. It polarizes us with regards to how we treat each other, how we treat those who are seeking safe shelter on our shores, our migrants, refugees, and asylum seekers. Often, I'm told by well-intentioned people to not worry because although Muslims may be the flavor now, another group will eventually replace them in this us and them dichotomy. And they point out how the Catholics, the Greeks, and the Italians were once the them and eventually became accepted into mainstream society. But my protest to this is, why should there be a next out-group? Why shouldn't it end here? Why can we not harness and promote the vibrancy of our diversity, of our cosmopolitan society, and celebrate it, rather than use it as a marker of separation? Perhaps Tim Costello, CEO of World Vision, was right when he said, and I quote him, Australians had become more inwardly focused and xenophobic, miss an important movement in the soul of Australians. He urges Australians to be mindful of our, and I quote him, role in the world, our shared humanity, and our responsibility to one another. What is this shared humanity that he's referring to? That the Dalai Lama has made his mission in life? That religion's historian academic Karen Armstrong has passionately advocated for? That even our former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd signed up to on the day before he resigned from office? What is this shared humanity that Muslims invoke hundreds of times a day, that starts every chapter of the Quran except one, that is said continuously and with conviction in our daily prayers 5 times a day, that I believe is the essence of Muslim belief? This shared humanity is compassion. In Arabic, the full supplication is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It is how I begin today, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most compassionate. It is how I begin my day, my mantra for basically doing everything all day long, and how I end my night. The Arabic word for compassion is rahmah, and is derived from the Semitic root rahm, which indicates something of the utmost tenderness and kindness, which provides protection and nourishment, from which creation is brought into being. Indeed, compassion is a divine concept in Islam. This divine concept is absolutely clear when God declares in the Quran, "My compassion and mercy encompasses all." There are quite a number of other verses in the Quran expounding this. One of my favorite sayings of the Prophet Muhammad is as follows: those who have no compassion or mercy on other human beings will not receive the mercy and compassion of God. Now, it's important to note that in this saying, the word used is nas, which means all people, not just believers of Islam. This compassion needs to extend not just to all human beings, but to animals too. Those on earth include all living things. Once the Prophet Muhammad told the story of a person who had fed water to a thirsty dog by climbing down a well and bringing water in her shoe and attained salvation for that act. She was a prostitute. In another narration, a ritually pious woman punished her cat that had licked her pot by tying it with a rope and keeping it hungry and thirsty until it died. This warranted God's displeasure. A few years ago, I came across a deeply poignant statement by Reza Kazemi, a statement which still resonates with me today and is the foundation for how many Muslims have lived their life in surrender to God and in service to others. Kazemi writes, and I quote, "If the concept of divine unity or God consciousness dominates the mind, which in Arabic is taqwa, it is the principle of divine compassion and mercy, rahmah, that rules the heart in Islam." Taqwa and rahmah, God consciousness and compassion. Indeed, these two concepts cannot be separated. You cannot attain God consciousness unless the essence of who you are is based on compassion. It is also these two concepts which have propelled me to reach out to others, especially to people of other faiths, so that we can begin a journey towards meaningful, empathic, interfaith engagement. Thank you.